What is going on, Wildlife X team? This is Michael here. In our last video, we talked about how to identify a skunk problem. So in today's video, we're going to be going over how to handle a skunk problem. If you think you have skunks, if you have identified a skunk problem, this video is going to give you some at-home strategies to get rid of the skunks so that way you can have a skunk-free 2018, or if you're watching this way in the future, hopefully a skunk-free year. Skunks aren't too harmful for humans, but skunk spray itself is absolutely annoying. It smells terrible. It's extremely hard to get rid of. If you get it inside of your skin, you're gonna be smelling horrible for probably at least a week, and that includes lots and lots of washing. It just doesn't want to go away. If it sprays at you in a close range kind of near you, the spray can actually temporarily blind you. It's not going to permanently blind you, but you're not going to be able to see in the short term. So it's just not fun dealing with a skunk problem. And skunk season now here in March is just starting to come. In a couple months, the babies of the skunks are going to start coming. So it's important right now to identify if you have a skunk problem, so that way you get rid of the skunks before they have their children, because if you have baby skunks there and whatnot, that's just going to be a lot harder to get rid of them, because they're not going to want to leave your property or your area if they make a little burrow somewhere, and you're going to have a lot of stink bombs, and it's not going to be fun. Another reason why skunks can be fairly annoying to deal with is because if a female rejects a male skunk, sometimes she will just spray on him. So these guys are literal stink bombs, and if they're hanging around your yard and they're regularly going there for food, this could be a problem just waiting to happen. For example, if a skunk sprays on your property, the spray itself can actually get stuck into the wood or the foundation or whatever, and it can smell horrible for upwards of months unless you have a professional deal with it. So it's very important to get rid of the skunk, which is the cheapest solution, rather than dealing with the after effects of potentially getting sprayed yourself or your property or your pets or whatever. So first off, in April or May, the skunks are going to have anywhere from 2 to 10 kits. So if you identify these kits running around your yard, or you realize that they have made like a little den somewhere and there's a lot of these baby skunks hanging together, first off, you'll probably just want to call an expert, because these baby kits are going to be very, very easily frightened, and they're just going to be a ton of little stink bombs. The adults are going to be very protective and aggressive as well. So if you find any kits or very young skunks, you're going to want to call an expert, because that's going to be too risky. But if you think you're dealing with one adult skunk and you want to try some at-home strategies, this video can help you out. So the first thing that you should check is where the skunks are potentially entering from. Now, if you are noticing skunks are coming into your backyard, you might want to check for holes under your fence, where basically these skunks might be coming from. If they're somehow going into your property or nesting underground or doing whatever they're doing, look for entrances and exits and seal them up. This is going to be one of the most easy strategies to do, and skunks are primarily nocturnal creatures, so you can do this in the day safely, as long as the skunk is not trying to sleep or hide out in the day under these areas that you're trying to seal up. So if the skunk is gone, you can seal up different access points, and this is going to prevent the skunk from coming back in the future. We'd also like to add that having live traps is definitely a viable solution. You can buy traps online, probably at Amazon or in certain stores near kind of your city, but be very, very careful with live traps, because it might not be legal to kill the skunks in some states. It could potentially be cruel and unusual punishment, and it could be named torture or whatever. And then also you run the risk of, if the skunk gets very scared or the trap doesn't instantly kill them, this could make the skunk release their smell, which we all know is absolutely horrible. So be very, very careful with live traps, and we don't recommend it. We recommend trying other options to start. So one of the best things that you can do is get automated sprinklers, and if you already have these, make sure that they turn on in the middle of the night, because skunks are primarily nocturnal creatures, and so if these things turn on at night, the water is going to cause the skunk not to spray or whatever, but it is going to frighten them, as well as other animals like raccoons and potentially, squirrels or whatever might be running around your property. So if you have these automated sprinklers turn on periodically in the night, just even briefly, these are going to scare away the wildlife animals and prevent them from infiltrating your property. Another thing you should do is to seal all trash bags. Seal your trash cans, seal everything. Raccoons especially absolutely love digging into trash cans. They're very persistent creatures, but skunks are very persistent as well. So if you are noticing that these things are being rummaged through, make sure it's sealed up, there are no odors, and if you have any fruit-bearing trees or there's potential fruits or veggies kind of lying around your yard, make sure that's cleaned up and protected. Another thing you can do is if you have a garden, make sure to fence in the garden, because skunks especially, they like to eat insects, and so they're going to dig small holes in the ground, but especially the garden. So if you make a small fence around this garden, it's going to help quite a bit. And in fact, if you make a fence around your property approximately 1 foot deep and 3 feet high, this should get rid of most wildlife animals, skunks especially. If you find a den or you're still having consistent problem, you could use a natural repellent such as cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper can be purchased very cheaply at pretty much all supermarkets, and if you put it at the entrance of the den, this is going to scare the skunks away over the night. It's best applied with a little bit of rain or a little bit of water, so just take a little bit of cayenne pepper, mix it with a little bit of water, and you can put this in certain areas where the skunks or wildlife animals are going to. So if they're regularly going to the garden, you could put a little bit of this around the garden, and that should deter them from entering this garden. So that's it. That's some basic strategies that you can use to help get rid of skunks and keep them away. So seal up all your trash bags, use cayenne pepper as a natural repellent, be careful of live traps, and make sure if it's legal or not, get a fence installed, and just be aware, be careful. And if any of these strategies that we mentioned for you are not working, then make sure to hire a professional remover. If you're still having persistent problems, definitely hire a professional, and don't ever engage a skunk yourself. Don't try to pick it up, don't try to fight it, don't try to scare it away. Although it will work the majority of times to try scare a skunk away, this usually isn't effective because skunks, again, are primarily nocturnal, so they're probably going to be coming and doing the damage while you're asleep, but also just the risk of having that skunk prey. So be careful, don't try to engage the animal, try be a little bit passive and use natural repellents like cayenne pepper, fencing things in and whatnot. But if that's not working, get a professional to handle the problem. We hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, as I'm sure you guys will, leave it in the comment section below and we will offer more advice for you guys on how to naturally get rid of these skunks. My name is Michael with Wildlife X Team, and we'll see you later.